I want to show you something.
We graduated in 1941. We came here to the school as very proud students, probably because at the time it was the finest school in probably Western Massachusetts.
Northampton High School was a modern, well-equipped building in 1941, but have you seen it recently? There's a potential here, an energy that isn't being given what it needs to succeed, to go on. I'm Toba Goodman, and I'm a senior here. And if you have a few minutes, I'd like to show you what I see and what can be done about it. Every day, kids come here hoping for something new, for something they've been missing, something to change the rest of their lives. But the building is old, and it affects us. We all feel it.
I'd like to see just the general state of the building improved. Like, I mean, right now the building's pretty decrepit and run down. It's a really old high school. It's the oldest school in the school system, in the Northampton school system, and we obviously need to make some improvements. The rooms are either too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, or vice versa, and it's just not an environment that's good for learning.
There are crumbling like walls and ceilings. You can see the rain drain, kind of brown, and that would be nice to have that all done. I mean, the football field definitely needs renovation. I like the idea that we're going to have a new one. It's terrible this year, terrible last year. Cafeteria's all right here. You have a good view of the football field when you're there. It would be nice if it was a little more sturdy, I guess. I mean, it's sturdy enough, but everything can always be better. You can always improve on stuff, and that would benefit students here.
The school is really old, and like I think that if they saw something that was new, maybe they'd be more alive and more focused.
Northampton High School, a 50-plus-year-old building, does not offer the learning climate to provide the best education for my students. There's electrical problems, there's crumbling walls, there's numerous safety violations.
The current is not enough to support the hot plates that we have in the other room. And as a consequence, when we try to boil water or anything like that, the circuit breaker is constantly being thrown. So in order to get things going again, I've got to throw the switch again to reset the panel. And then we go back out there again, and we can turn our hot plates on to continue the experiments. But as you'll see when we go out there, they will again, in fact, there it's done already. It's blown again. In the high school, we serve about 800 students. We only have one computer now that is available to them to hook up to the internet. So if they're going to use the World Wide Web, the only computer in the school is this one.
Students come into the program looking for the technology that exists in the real world today. I cannot deliver that at this point.
Some people think we should build a new school.
Are we going to really address the major issues at the high school by doing a renovation the way it is now? Or do we need to build more space to accommodate these kids? Otherwise, you know, when they come up, we're going to have the same problems. You know, overcrowding in the classroom, not enough teachers to handle it, and we're going to have to rebuild something again, and that's a bit wasteful in our dollars.
But that's not the only possibility.
Would we like a new school? Of course we'd like a new school, but we certainly can't afford a whole new one. But renovating this school makes a lot of sense.
Once the building is renovated, it will become a community center more than it is right now. First of all, the auditorium, which is right here, will be air conditioned, which will allow it to be used even in a greater detail than presently. In addition, we're building 5 computer labs. We're going to have an addition on the back of the building to the right over here that will have our cafetorium, and that will be an excellent meeting spot. It'll be accessible because it'll be right off the parking lot. We're adding 300 parking spaces, which has been a real problem in the past. Any events we've had here is, in essence, created neighborhood gridlock, and with the new parking, even more facilities can be done without having a negative impact on the neighborhood.
Okay, the new library is going to be a great addition to the school. It's going to be in where the gymnasium now is, and it'll be much larger than the current library, and there's plans to have a lot of computers. That's what our biggest demand is for now, is for new computers, and I think that the new library will significantly meet that need.
JFK, after the renovations, everyone was talking about the new technology lab that we had, and I remember the first time I went in there, it was just like, oh wow, this is really cool. It was like, you had all this stuff, and it was just like, it was there for you to use and for you to learn about. And I thought it was like the coolest class that there was there, and I think that having a technology lab here at the high school would be like such a good improvement, because you learn so much in that class, and I mean, it's just like such like a wide variety of stuff that you learn about. You learn about like wavelengths, and it's a lot of science. You learn about like putting on like a television show and radio shows and computers and and medicine and like anatomy. And it was all in that one class that I learned that, and I thought it was so great.
We have in the background a new middle school that is providing the latest technology. When the children go from this school to the high school, we would like them to continue with that technology. And to have that opportunity, we need to pass an override.
There wasn't money put aside each year to update and maintain the building as well as it should have been. If the city had been maintaining it right along and saving for the renovation of this school, we wouldn't have such a big bill at this time.
We have this wonderful community of Northampton with wonderful shops and restaurants, and all of a sudden you go up to Elm Street, you see this high school that looks basically good on the outside. If you have the chance to get in there, as I do on many occasions, both as a parent and also working with teachers within the school system, I know that the conditions are less than what anybody who lives, any taxpayer who lives in Northampton really wants to see in a high school.
Right now, our high school is coming up for a reaccreditation in the fall of the year 2000. And this building project is critical into having us meet that standard and to be reaccredited. I would hate to have this community have a high school that was on probation. It would have a tremendous impact upon the community and on our young people. And I would hope that everybody in the community would support this project, and thereby support the future of Northampton.
Without a renovation in this high school, without repairs of a deteriorating facility, without up-to-date equipment, we certainly can't pursue an education for any of our students, an education that they deserve. This growing lack of faith in the community about the ability of the public schools to deliver educational services will only be magnified by our failure to renovate this facility.
When you lose your accreditation, you are doing the wrong thing.
You know, when you talk about the Northampton High School Override Project, you're talking about an exciting new building and an exciting new way to educate our children. At about $42 per year per taxpayer, that's a pretty affordable price.
I invite all citizens to come forward
take a tour of this facility and see why it should be repaired now.
This isn't about any one person or any one philosophy. This is about the kids. And, you know, it always amazes me, and it certainly amazes Mary Jo, that we as a society and we as a citizenship in Massachusetts do not blink an eye at building prisons. In fact, when we have bond authorizations to do that, we get substantial support for that. We don't say that we're going to spare any price to build prisons. So we should have that same standard when it comes to our youth and our kids. And we should be willing to pay that little extra. And to have a quality education, you have to have a quality facility. And I urge all our friends to take this opportunity and go out and vote on Election Day for the override. Because it's not just for us, but it's for our kids and our kids' kids.
If we had more access to things, maybe it'd be better. If we had a better atmosphere, things would be better. But like the community wouldn't know unless they were in our foot. They wouldn't know unless they were in our position.
If our parents did it for us, why shouldn't we be doing it for the people that are coming along? That's my personal feeling.
Right.
Here and I can't turn. Unless I do this. And even that's hard. My hand gets caught on the door. I come through here, get my lunch, and go through the other side. Coming out is the same way as coming in. It's very difficult. It's very hard for me to turn.
Reach the food. It's all wrapped up. And then we'll go to the bagel. Put the tray right on what you would do. How would you get out?
of starvation before you got out there. Joe, tell him.
I'd probably die before I get to eat this, like, you know, carrying this. And normally carrying my food would be hard. Voila. It won't be one that you have to do with one hand.
Watch what you're doing. So you're holding away.
You want me to try one thing?
Go ahead. You do it. I'm going to get out of the way.
I'm not kidding when you say this door's heavy. Yeah. Hard part, shut the game. But I can't do that.
Good job.
Okay.
The doors are what?
Doors are
Pain in the butt?
yeah.
You guys gotta do this, I can't.
One's bathroom.
So which side would you go, the other side, Joe? Can you even get through?
No.
Let's see what happens.
First off, doors are heavy.
Oh, I think you might want to...
The other door.
Go to the other door.
The other one?
Yeah. I don't even think you can get in.
No, I can't. I can't do that.
Okay, so make your point. Okay, just pretend you unlocked it. And push.
Can't even get the key out.
Trying to shove it where? Oh, this is you wanted to get it done.
Key's jammed, I can't get out.
Okay, just go, Joe.
Key, I can't. Erase that bunch of paper, it's ready.
No, shh.
Let's see my guidance counselor. Here's the door to guidance.
Thank you. Joe can't open the door to guidance by himself to get out. He can get in, but he can't get out.
This is the easy part. Out is the hard part.
Doing too.
I'm trying to get to the water fountain.
Go talk about it.
I'm trying to get to the water fountain, and it's just hard. I mean, this is handicap accessible. I don't think so. They think that anybody in a wheelchair, anybody that's in a wheelchair should be allowed to go here, but it must be handicap accessible before they can come here. And this doesn't look very handicapped to me. This is the way to locker room. How do you expect the wheelchair to get down there? I don't see how anybody can get in a wheelchair can get down there unless they're carried down. This is the only handicap entrance, and it's the one I used to get into school. If we hit this button, the door opens. Not handicapped accessible. Every time I have my sister help me.
Advising people how to move concrete is very easy. Getting them to follow the advice is very hard, and I get frustrated by that. I want gay men and lesbians to take the National Rifle Association as their model, or maybe the American Association of Retired Persons. Those two organizations have a great deal of influence, and you can agree or disagree with the NRA's agenda. That doesn't affect your view of how effective their methods are. You write to members of Congress and you call them, and you don't write to anybody whose name you see in the paper. You write to your representative and your senator. Members of the House and of the Senate listen to their constituents. Not 100% of the time, not on every issue, but one of the biggest impacts on us is what the constituents say. I think things are getting better. Prejudice is somewhat on the defensive, but it's got a lot of kick left. And the key will be to the gay men and lesbians and the people who love us and care for us, care more about ending bigotry than the bigots care about perpetuating it. If you ask the average member of Congress today, he or she has heard more from the bigots who want to perpetuate the bigotry than from those of us who want to oppose it. And until and unless we have enough determination and discipline to reverse that, because I think we have the numbers, if we don't immobilize them, then we're not going to win.
The Employment Non-Discrimination Act, ENDA, would protect gays and lesbians from being fired, from being denied employment, from being discriminated against on the job, from being paid less for doing the same job based solely on one's sexual orientation. Contact your senators and representatives and tell them to support ENDA. Get your family and friends to do the same. This is Pat Schroeder. I was one of the original co-sponsors of ENDA. Every morning, Congress opens with the Pledge of Allegiance saying liberty and justice for all, and then they work all day to keep hate alive. Remember, liberty and justice for all. What part of all don't we understand?
I'm Sissy Houston. My children, Gary, Michael, and Whitney, have given me some of the happiest moments of my life, also some of the most trying. Raising children is very hard work, and sometimes we need a place to go for help, someone to turn to, someone to talk with. At Parents Anonymous, you can get help and hope. Call. It's toll-free.
Hello, I'm Maureen Albano, the Western Massachusetts Coordinator for Parents Anonymous. Like Sissy Houston, I know firsthand that parenting can be stressful, leaving you feeling tired, alone, and sometimes very frustrated. Parents Anonymous offers free self-help support groups to all of us parents feeling this stress. These meetings are confidential and offer free childcare. For more information about the chapter nearest you, please call toll-free 1-800-882-1250. Please join us.
Hello, I'm Clint Black. I chose music as a career, but even if you're not a professional musician, an education that includes music makes for a more complete education. Music education programs improve academic performance, and involvement in music builds self-esteem and discipline. Call this toll-free number to find out what you can do to support music in the schools. Music for a sound education.
As soon as I started taking music classes, I went from getting C's and B's to getting almost all A's. And I really believe that that had a lot to do with it. So the formal education of music, it's really important because I think children need that in order to get that inspiration and get the kind of discipline ideas that will help them later in life.